Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm now being joined in the studio by the Vice President of the Joint Health Sector Unions, Comrade Felix Faniro. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much, Amy.
Your union was on strike from November 13 till February 2nd. And the demands, I'm sure right now, some Nigerians, because of that length of time, they may not be in tune anymore with some of your demands. You want to let us into why you went on that strike?
Thank you. Let me quickly say that the Joint Health Sector Unions actually is not a union. It's a conglomeration of 5 different registered trade unions in the health sector. And having said that, we began that strike on the 13th of November, 2014, and we had to suspend it on the 2nd of February. What are the reasons for embarking on this strike? As we have already informed members of the public, the strike was embarked upon because the government had continuously refused to implement agreements reached with the union. And they include the following issues. 1, on the 30th of June 2006, the National Industrial Court gave a ruling that the government and the union should negotiate to conclude agreement on payment of cultural allowance and other professional allowances that will be based on empirical and scientific consideration, rather than just allocating allowances based on facial value. That's 1. 2, on the 2nd of December 2009, an agreement was actually reached that specialist allowance should be paid to healthcare professionals who are based in the hospital, rather than those who are honorary consultants who are already being recognized and paid. 3, on the 10th of May 2012, an agreement was reached on 5 issues that our members who are healthcare professionals with requisite graduate degree and above should be promoted to the peak of their career on salary grade level 17 or Congress 15 in the teaching hospital sector. 2, that a job evaluation report that was agreed under Obasanjo regime in 2008 should be implemented. 3, that the condition of service for retirement of people in the teaching hospital should be as per university counterpart. That is, should be reviewed from 60 to 65 and 70 years of age. And that has been agreed. And we also agreed that the Abdullahi Bello Guzo panel report of 2011 be implemented. And finally, on that same day, it was agreed that the way and manner the management board of teaching hospitals was constituted was rather lopsided in favor of medical practitioners, having 10 out of 13, and that other professional associations that number up to 20, 25 should have more equitable representation.
Okay, of all of these demands that you raised, which of them would you say has been met?
I would say that none of them has been met. None of them has been met.
Even the consultancy status?
The consultancy status that has not been implemented today. They only issued a paper recognizing the fact that the consultancy status is now to be restored to our members, but then the payment that should be effective from January 1, 2010 till now has not been paid.
Okay, now tell us about some of the meetings you had with the federal government team before that meeting with the president.
We had a series of meetings. On November 13, the strike began actually on November 13. We had earlier had a meeting on November 6, which was very futile, and that was what led to the strike of November 13. After that, there was another meeting on November 19, which didn't actually produce anything. And there was a meeting eventually on the 22nd of December 2014. The federal government informed us that one of the demands, which I already mentioned there, was an agreement reached in March 2014 based on adjustment of salary for health sector workers. Remember that in January 2014, adjustment of salary was done for NME members, and they started taking this new salary from that time, leaving 90% of health workers not collecting similar thing, highly discriminatory. This is one of the reasons why we are not happy in the sector. However, government agreed with us on March 2014 that they will do similar thing, and we agreed on what should be done.
So at those meetings, what were the things that...
At the meeting, the most useful meeting was a meeting which was held in November, where they said they were going to calculate the financial implication of that salary adjustment, and it was going to take them about 1 month to do. You say, what, 1 month to calculate financial implication? In actual fact, this has been done in April last year, but they said they want to do it again because an error has been committed. So it took them about 1 month. And we said, we will wait until you are finished. When they now came back on the 25th of December, they said they had done it.
22nd.
22nd of December, 3 days to Christmas. They said they've done that, and now what is required is for presidents to approve. And once president approves, then the next stage is there will be issuance of circular on that salary adjustment, and then it cannot be paid, and it will be factored into the 2015 budget. They assured us that within 2 weeks, Mr. President should have signed that approval. But we were so surprised that even as at the 23rd of January, when we met again in Abuja, there was no evidence that they had forwarded this paper to Mr. President, or neither has Mr. President approved anything. And so we had to take some decisions to arouse the interest of the public by telling our members nationwide to fast and pray on the 20th of January, and then to go on the streets on the 21st, and that was done in many parts of the country. And we had to set some people to reach out to Mr. President. So eventually, we were able to get Mr. President on 1st of February this year in this private room.
Okay.
I had a private discussion with
Okay,
us.
you want to share with us what actually happened at that meeting?
Oh, well, I mean, we went there as the leaders of joint health sector unions. We met Mr. President, and that was on Sunday, February 1. When we got to him, we made him to know our plight, and we thought he should have approved all our demands, which were placed before him. But we incidentally found that it's as if there was a disconnect between Mr. President and the ministers that have been talking to us, because we felt that at that time, if the paper had been presented to him, he ought to have signed it. But he assured us that he was going to do it. He pleaded with us that we should give him time, that he was actually involved in campaigns now, and all the ministers are also in their constituencies. He gave us firm assurances that as soon as the election is over, he will convene another meeting with us, and he will ensure that the demands are met. He told us that actually he placed health in his priority, and that was why he set up the Early Ahmed Committee, and that he was looking forward to the Early Ahmed Committee actually removing all the necessary causes of industrial strikes in the health sector. But at that stage, we had to let him know that we had studied the Early Ahmed Committee report, and we are not happy with some of the sections in the committee report, because they were even capable of further aggravating the disharmony in the sector.
It appears that JOHESU members are really not happy. But one will wonder, what actually will make health workers, aside from medical doctors, what actually will make you happy? Because this strike from November till February, it's a long time. People died, and those that are dead, they're not going to come back now. So now the president has promised you. How optimistic are you?
JOHESU members are not happy because we are being discriminated against in our own country. We are being discriminated against in our own sector. Members of the public must know that who are the people that constitute this JOHESU? We have various categories of people amongst us. The people that belong to the Nigerian Union of Allied Healthcare Professionals, one of the unions, they are healthcare professionals at par with medical and dental practitioners in terms of training, in terms of educational qualification, in fact, even higher qualifications amongst them, because most of our members do not only have university degree, we have masters and PhD among us. So if people have this qualification, it takes us about 5 to 6 years to have our first degree before embarking on this postgraduate studies.
Some of you.
Majority of the members of the Nigerian Union of Allied Healthcare Professionals, one of the unions. So if we have to study for so much, for so long, and we have to come out without being allowed to reach the peak of our career,